Welcome to the Practice Power Up podcast, your go-to destination for all things health practice management. I'm Danielle Hopkinson, head of brand and communications at Power Diary. Every episode, we're here to bring you the latest insights, updates, and transformative strategies to supercharge your health practice. From groundbreaking product enhancements to empowering company news, we're here to help you navigate the path to practice excellence. Stay tuned as we power up your practice's potential. Hey everyone, welcome to the Practice Power Up podcast. Today, I've got a very special guest, Natalie Englander, all the way from England, right? And I am super excited as she is our first official unwebinar related podcast, a Power Diary partner, and also a Power Diary user. So let's jump right in. Let me tell you a little bit about Natalie, and then we'll get Natalie talking and answering some great questions for us about how she became as successful as she is, and also got a great Instagram followers of 24,000, which is quite amazing. So Natalie is an experienced cognitive behavioral therapist and coach with over 12 years of practice, and she is quite young. Well, I must say that too, so that is pretty impressive. She previously worked at London's NHS as a senior CBT therapist, leading mental health services. Recently, she has transitioned from her NHS role as a deputy clinical lead and principal CBT therapist, quite impressive, to focus on her private practice, specializing in perfectionism, something we all can relate to, right? Alongside therapy, Natalie also offers business coaching to help therapists grow their private practice with social media marketing and website strategy. Natalie, I'm exhausted for you already. Natalie is a supervisor accredited by the British Association for Behavioural and Cognitive Psychotherapists and a registered member of the British Psychological Society. Again, I'm exhausted. You've got a lot on your plate, girl. That's amazing. What a great resume. I'm super excited to have you on today. So, Natalie, thank you for being on. Why don't you say hello to our fabulous Power Up podcast audience? And let's get right in. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. And thank you so much for having me. I feel so honored to be your first podcast guest. I didn't actually know that before I got here, so I feel super special. So thank you.
Well, we are super honored to have you. And like I said, you've got such a great resume. I mean, so many accomplishments. I'm just like wowed by everything I see here. Not only like the stuff you are doing now, but the stuff you've done so early. I mean, in your career, it's amazing. It's one of those times where, my perfectionism is going to be like, man, I haven't stepped up to the plate enough. This is amazing. So how and why did you get into healthcare in the first place? Let's start right there.
Yeah, well, I think as soon as I did psychology at A level, so that's when I was, I think, 16, I just knew, okay, I definitely want to be a therapist. I think having experienced my own struggles in my teens with anxiety, I think that also made me feel like I'd love to help other people with anxiety. So straight after finishing school, did my psychology degree. And it was probably knowing so soon what I wanted to do that's helped me to get so far already in my career. Because I guess I just looked into all the different bits and bobs that you need to have experience wise in order to then go on to further training as a therapist after you've done your 3-year degree at uni. So I picked to do cognitive behavioral therapy. That type of therapy seemed to appeal to me the most, because it's quite structured, goal orientated, focused in the here and now, which I think just goes well with my personality as well. And so, yeah, I started working in the NHS, and I've spent most of my time in the NHS until the beginning of this year when I've now left to
Wow.
just pursue my private practice.
I love that. Now, on my side of things, I'm just curious, was that a big jump? Were you nervous? Again, you got you focus on perfection, specializing in perfectionism. How did that for yourself set you up? Were you like, I'm sure your skills and your knowledge has made that an easier transition, but what a big jump to like leave something you're so
Yeah.
familiar with to something maybe not so familiar with. How was that for you? How was that transition?
Yeah. I guess I did it really gradually. So I started off just condensing my full-time NHS hours from 5 days into 4 days. So they're
Okay.
quite busy 4 days. But it then meant I could do 1 day private practice and see clients, but not have that, I guess, financial pressure of I need to see X amount of clients to make sure I'm bringing home the same amount of money each month.
Yeah.
And so I think taking the pressure off helped, and it allowed me the time and space to just work on building all of the fundamentals in my practice, so my systems, processes, website, Instagram. Um, and then eventually I did 2 days private practice and then took the leap
Yeah.
to
Took
do
the
it
leap.
full time. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I can only imagine like I love how you did that. So you like set yourself up for success by giving yourself time to move over versus
Mm.
let me just start this all one day. Let's just go
Yeah.
for it. I guess that comes from all your learnings and all of your education, like to kind of take these little steps, which you're now sharing with other people, I assume, with part of your coaching that you've
Yeah.
kind of started doing in the United States and Canada. I see part of your Instagram, a lot of your Instagram followers are here in the States
Mm.
and Canada. And since you are licensed in UK, you can't provide your own like your
Yeah.
CBT therapy here, but you can coach. So why don't you tell me a little bit about how that started and how that grew to where you're at today?
Yeah. Well, I guess I think it's always really frustrating for therapists in the UK that you can work with clients in the UK, across the world, but not the US and Canada.
Mm,
And I guess exactly as you said, so many of my followers on Instagram, actually more than the UK, are from the US. And it just felt like such a shame to not be able to work with them.
yeah,
Um, so I thought, why not also train to become a cognitive behavioral coach? There's lots of overlap and similarities between cognitive behavioral therapy and cognitive behavioral coaching. Um, and I think it sort of worked well with my niche, and the sorts of clients that I see for therapy are perfectionists struggling with perfectionism. Um, and given that perfectionism isn't technically a mental health problem, it is a personality trait, it
right,
means that it is kind of workable with coaching versus, if my niche was working with clients with depression, those clients really should be having therapy, not coaching.
right.
Um, Whereas I felt like I had picked a good niche that was flexible and meant I could offer therapy or coaching in different types of kind of formats and intensities and things.
I love that. I can imagine that you've got quite a few friends that potentially try to reach out for your services for free.
Yeah, although I definitely can't offer therapy to any friends or family, but it's always helpful having recommendations. And I guess when you've worked in the NHS for so long as well, all of your old colleagues, if and when they know of anyone that would want coaching or therapy, um, then I often get recommended, which is lovely.
That is lovely. And then again, I'm just really so impressed with everything you have done so far. What would you say your biggest win was? Can you
Mm.
nail one down? I mean, I guess it's a hard thing to nail down. Like, what's
Yeah.
my biggest win? And then like, how did you accomplish? I mean, I could guess your biggest win. I mean, for me, it's 24,000 Instagram followers, being able to coach all over the world. I'm starting your own. That's a couple big wins, but do you have one that, particularly stands out for yourself?
Yeah, I think actually for me, it would be working only with self-funded clients. So most people, or certainly in the UK, when you want to go into private practice, you usually need to start off seeing clients um, through insurance companies like private healthcare, or you might need to be an associate in someone else's private practice, which
Yeah.
basically means the clients are found for you. And in some ways, that's nice and easy that you just rock up and see the clients. You don't have to have your own website, you don't need to market yourself, etc. But then, of course, you don't get paid as much
Right.
most of the time in terms of per session. So usually the dream for most therapists is to be able to get self-funded clients. So the ones that just find you directly through something like Instagram or your website. And then you can usually sort of charge a higher fee, have a better income, but at the same time being able to see less clients as a result, which I think always means you're going to probably be a better therapist. You're going to be less burnt out, less
Yeah.
emotionally sort of tired, um, unlike when you're working in other services where you're seeing, 20, 30 clients a week. You can see a lot less. So your clients get a lot more from you as
Yeah.
well. So yeah, for me, I think the biggest win is being able to just work with self-funded clients and not work with insurance companies or be an associate. Maybe I'm quite stubborn, but I guess just right at the beginning, I was like, I know this is what you're meant to do. You're meant to start in one place and build it up and get to where you want to get to. But I just thought, I don't want to do that. I just want to start where I want to get to and just take my time in order to do that.
Well, I think that's just such a very fair statement. I think that therapists, from our knowledge and having worked with so many across the globe, you don't want to make financial you don't want to say like I'm in this for the money. You're not in this for the money, but
Mm-hmm.
to have that financial ability that you're able
Mm,
to, like you said, see less clients, give yourself, more into the ones that you have, I mean,
yeah.
makes so much sense because you're able to concentrate on them and still be yourself, which if you're seeing a lot and you might not have that ability, there's less of you to give, which is so important because I think that therapists, you want to give so much. I mean,
Yeah.
you want to be in there, you want to help, and being able to focus your help because you've got that financial security, which is, again, nobody wants to say that as a therapist, but that's important. You want
Mm,
to, be able to take care of yourself and take care of them. So that makes so much
yeah.
sense. And being able to see that and like, okay, I want to do that at such, you know, a great place in your career. I totally appreciate that. I think
Mm,
that's a lesson a lot of, therapists, psychologists, counselors can really learn from, and having that, just flexibility to pick
yeah.
and choose or know what works for you.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's really helpful to just be open about wanting to have self-funded clients because then you're able to charge a higher fee or kind of make more per session. Because yeah, of course, therapists become therapists because they want to help people. Otherwise, they wouldn't. They pick a different job.
Right.
Um, but it doesn't mean that then you have no interest or desire to earn a good income. And
As you
actually, I think
should. And
what's
there's,
great is if you can do both.
yeah,
Um, yeah,
exactly. And you should. I mean, you put a lot of work into this. You spent probably a lot on school. You got a lot of
yeah,
resources that you're taking classes on the side to continue to grow yourself as a practitioner. So, I mean, it all makes so much sense to me, and I appreciate it. I think a lot, like I said, a lot of people can learn from that insight and not be fearful of stating that. Like it's not definitely not
mm,
something to stay for. And it gives you the time to be so much more. Whoop, I got a little pause there. Where did we go? Okay. It gives you time to
We're
just be
back.
so much more present for your current customers. So I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
What is so that's kind of a lesson you had to learn. Would you say that's your most important lesson that you've learned throughout your career? Or what is that most important lesson? What I'm sure our
Yeah.
audience would love to hear it.
Oh, I'm sure I've got lots of lessons that I've learned that I could share. I think that for me, and this will probably be particularly relevant if there are any fellow perfectionists out there. Um, so yeah, I am also a perfectionist. It's not just my niche
Me
in
too.
terms of who I work with. Yeah. Um, and I think that the biggest lesson I've learned is that sometimes you need to just get started and just do something, put something out there and tweak it afterwards, rather than feeling like you need to have all your ducks in a row before you can do anything, or you need to make sure you totally have everything figured out and done perfectly before you can start. Because all that does is just keep you kind of stuck where you are in that analysis paralysis almost. So even
Yes.
thinking with like Instagram content, for example, if there are any therapists listening who use social media, sometimes you can't know what the perfect content strategy for you and your audience is until you just put some stuff out there, and then you'll quickly learn that works well, that doesn't work so well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think just getting started and just doing something, and then
Okay.
refining it afterwards.
Doing it. I'm gonna start taking that into my because I've that what you said, that analysis paralysis. Oh, I can
Yeah,
find myself going down that same pathway because you know I
yeah,
I look, I want to, you want to do it perfect. You want to make it done right. I guess, me as a marketer, I feel myself sometimes getting in that same, place. I'm
mm,
like, ooh, it got to be done perfect. But if you can just learn from that and just, test
yeah,
something, get it out there, see how it does, learn, move forward.
yeah,
So I think I can really appreciate that. So everyone out there, listen to Natalie, get out there,
yeah.
test something, get onto it. So I guess that's a great transition to my next question was you have over, as I've stated, which is just to me, it's really impressive. I mean, how long you got 24,000 followers on Instagram on your therapy account. How did you do it? How'd you do it? I don't even think, I mean, Power Guy, we got to keep growing. So I'm sure there's a lot of stuff I can learn from you myself. So how did you do it?
Probably the first thing to say is that it doesn't happen overnight,
Mm.
which is really important, because if there's anyone who's starting out their private practice or new to Instagram, you see these other accounts and you just think, oh, everyone else is doing a great job, and it's, crickets over here when I do a post and no one likes it or engages or responds. So it definitely takes time, and it also sadly definitely takes quite a lot of effort as well.
Oh,
Um, but hopefully that is helpful, just to have the realism there, rather than thinking, oh, this is a really super duper easy, quick thing that I can do. Because I think if we go in with that approach, you'll feel really quickly disheartened when you don't suddenly get 24,000 followers 1 week later. Um,
or go
but I think
viral.
yeah, yeah. I think how I've done well on Instagram is identifying my niche, so
Mhm.
working with perfectionists. Um, and then that's helped me to get also really clear on my messaging, i.e., the stuff that I'm saying, the stuff that I'm talking about, the stuff that I'm putting out there. So that's allowed me to have a really good content strategy, rather than just sort of posting aimlessly or posting things that I think are interesting. Um, and again, some of that has come from testing it out, posting stuff and seeing that didn't do so well, but people seem to be really interested in this
Yeah.
one particular thing. Um, and I think it's also about being really clear with what your goals are when you're using Instagram, because they will probably change over time. Um, so to begin with, my goal with Instagram wasn't to get clients from it. I was
Yeah.
just focusing on my website and getting clients from that. Um, I just wanted to build Instagram, I guess, because I thought it looked fun and like a bit of a hobby to share stuff around mental health. Um, and then I thought it would probably be a good idea to grow my Instagram to just, I guess, help me build my brand, to
Mm-hmm.
to build that know like trust factor, maybe be invited onto podcasts, for
Yeah,
example,
of
like
course.
this.
Yeah.
Um, and then it's only been more recently that I've shifted my goal of, okay, I'm not so fussed about growing it now.
Yeah.
Um, I just want to work on refining my strategy so that I can get more therapy clients from my Instagram. And what's been really nice is to see that when I've changed my goal and my strategy, I've now started to get more inquiries.
So are
Um,
you're getting more clients for your own your now I know you're getting business, you're getting the business coaching in the States. Are you
yeah,
getting therapy like patients in a UK
yeah,
as well from it?
yeah,
Wonderful.
yeah, yeah. And I guess it's, I think it's such a great place for therapists to be because for your clients, if they're wanting therapy, it's obviously really important that they feel comfortable with their therapist, that they feel like they can relate to them on some level, that they like them. Um, and of course, they're not going to know everything about you from Instagram, but they can just get a sense of your, your style, how
Yeah.
you interact, talk, engage, and that's going to give them more confidence that they want to reach out and work with you. Um, and I guess for us therapists, it's good because we're then usually attracting the clients that we want to work with.
Right. Well, I can imagine that, to understand your bedside manner, to like get a like, because I
Mm,
think that that's one of the drawbacks of a patient looking for therapy. I mean, therapy, it's being talked about so much more since, I guess, COVID. I think COVID really brought
mm,
that therapy right to the forefront because so many people were suffering during a difficult time being isolated or
yeah.
alone. You're away from your friends who were for most people, they're normal therapists. Like you call up a girlfriend, you have like a lengthy conversation, they talk you through it, they tell you what you don't want to hear, what you want to hear. But, getting that time during that time that wasn't readily available. So therapy became
Mm,
very much a hot topic. So it makes sense for someone to see something on, Instagram or social media to, like, oh, I could really, this is someone I feel like I could talk to like a friend, but it's an outside party. This is someone who's specializes, has the background, has the knowledge, and I like them. And I feel like I could talk with them openly and freely. So, I mean, it makes so much sense that you would find a great pool of clients from these different advertising methods. So, I think that's super smart. Super smart. And I'm glad that you did that. Uh-oh, did we freeze? We froze for a second. Did you catch all that
I
I was
can see
saying?
you. Yeah, yeah, I got it.
Wonderful. I was like, oh no, oh no, did I say the wrong thing? No, I just think it's super smart. And during this, it's just such a great way for clients to really get an understanding of you. And because it is an
Mm,
intimidating thing walking into an office or
yeah.
jumping on a telehealth call or however you're meeting with these clients. I mean, on the client side of things, it's intimidating. It's nervous. You're about to open up your life to this person
Mm,
and you don't know anything about them. But if you can get a feel for them, from the social
yeah,
media, from the
exactly.
posts, what an like that confidence going in that it's going to be a good experience is just so much better. And I just
Yeah.
super smart. So I really appreciate that you did that. Now the business coaching. So we touched on it a little bit. How did they start finding you for again just stumbling on your Instagram and listening to what you're saying, hey, I want to do what you're doing?
Well, it initially started because I am also a supervisor. So I supervise other therapists and
Okay.
support them with their clinical work with their clients. And so I've done lots of supervising in my NHS roles.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started to also offer it in private practice. Um, and it just really began as offering kind of private practice advice to my supervisees. Um, and then it seemed like that was really helpful and maybe they wanted a bit more, but of course we didn't want to take up all of our supervision time because that's mainly to talk about clients.
Yeah.
So I started offering mentoring as like a separate kind of service, separate sessions for mentoring. Some of them were my supervisees, and then I guess just word of mouth, or maybe people finding me on a Facebook group with other therapists, started to get some more mentoring clients. And then once I moved full time into private practice, I thought, okay, now I've got more capacity, more time. I really love doing this. I want to do more of it. So I have, I guess, made it more of a part of my business and have shifted into offering business coaching. Um, and I guess I have lots of therapists that follow me on my perfectionism therapist account, but more recently, I also created a second Instagram account, which I'm probably mad for doing, but that's my therapist biz coach
Yeah.
account. And so I've had lots of people find me on there and get in touch through that account. But it's actually been really fascinating because on that account, I think I've got under just under 500 followers, but I've
Okay.
still had lots of inquiries and have got new clients from that. So I think
Nice.
it's just a good reminder that sometimes the size of your audience doesn't really matter or doesn't dictate whether you can get client inquiries from your account. You don't need to have thousands of followers. You can literally have 400 followers.
It's the engagement and how I'm going to. So that I think
Yeah.
that's really important, especially, if you're a therapist and you're doing this, right? You may, only need the people in your area or people local to you to
Mm-hmm.
really, but if you can get them engaged and get them excited about what you're saying and then pull them back for clients as get them pull them in for yourself for a client. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. You don't
Yeah.
necessarily need, obviously, the bigger you are, the more audience, but it's going to take time, as you said, practice,
Yeah.
refinement, all of those things for it to really
Exactly.
grow. But just if you've got 400 and 400 that are really engaged and love what you're doing,
Mm.
that's
Yeah.
that's awesome. So I think that's
Yeah.
really, I think that's important because I think people can get, discouraged, as we said earlier. They go, oh, it's not working.
Mm.
When's it going to work? Just
Yeah.
keep plugging away. Don't be a perfectionist.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay, so I think you've kind of covered this a little bit, but maybe we'll just directly ask it. So, if you had a tip for somebody
Mm.
on social media, what would it be for their marketing? Is it make a fancy TikTok or dance around in your office? What is your like best
Yeah.
tip for somebody getting into it?
Yeah. I think my best tip would be to find what you like doing and then focus on that. Because if you like it, you're going to be more likely to do it. Whereas if you're sitting there feeling overwhelmed, dreading having to do a particular thing on Instagram, whether it's talking on stories or doing a post or a reel, a video, whatever it might be, you're probably going to put off doing it and it's not going to happen as frequently or as consistently. So at the moment, for example, I'm just really focusing on two types of posts on my perfectionism account. Reels that are quite easy for me to make and they are quite good at drawing in new followers. And then posts that are more educational, which I quite enjoy
Mm-hmm.
doing, but I'm not having to kind of fuss around with how it looks because I've just got a bit of a template for how I do it.
Yeah.
Whereas back in the day, I would have done multiple different types of posts, different kind of visual graphics, different types of reels, and it just felt a bit much.
Yeah.
So I think definitely finding what works for you. Um, and also figuring out what's realistic as well. So on my new therapist biz coach account, I knew and still know that I don't currently have capacity to be doing lots of posts on that account as well. But I thought I either wait until I can do it perfectly,
Yeah.
or what I think is perfectly, and then it probably won't happen for months, or I can just set it up and start doing something until I'm ready to put more time into it. So I'm actually yet to do a post on this new account. I've just been showing up on stories.
Okay.
Um, and so it's been a really fascinating experiment to see. There isn't a single post on that account. I've just shown up consistently on stories, been talking a lot behind the scenes stuff as a therapist in private practice, and I've got business coaching clients from it. Um, so yeah, for me, that just says find what you like doing and what's realistic for you to do, and then just keep doing that.
How do you get over the fear of putting yourself out there? Because
Yeah.
you got, I mean, look, we all do it, right? I mean, I've always said, since I started doing like social media posts for wherever for where I'm at, or Power Diary, or my previous life, you have to put yourself out there. You have to like just, I'm like, you
Yeah.
just do it. Like you can't worry about the nuance, or is my hair messed up? Did I, like how did
Yeah.
you over, because that's it's like a thing, we're not all, Kim
Yeah. Oh, it definitely
Kardashian
is.
or
Yeah,
like,
I think,
perfect. We're not all
yeah.
perfect. So how did you get over that?
Yeah, I think um this is definitely a big thing for most people on Instagram, but definitely for therapists as well, because therapists have all the normal human stuff around putting myself out there, what are people going to think, etc. But they also have that extra baggage of how much shall I show or share, what's appropriate, what's not. Would I feel comfortable if a client saw this or not? So they kind of have all of that stuff going on as well. But um, I think the best way is just to know you will feel cringe, it will feel uncomfortable. Don't wait until that feeling disappears, because you might be waiting a pretty long time,
That first
and
time
to
you hear your
just
voice, the
do it
first time
anyway.
you hear your voice, like
Oh,
for
yeah,
some
I
reason,
know.
rehearing your voice, it's like, oh, it's not me.
Yeah, yeah. But I think it's in some ways therapists are quite good at it, because I guess we talk about this sort of stuff with our clients of exposure work, just doing the thing that you fear doing. And then the more you do it again and again, the less fearful you feel about doing it. And I always think as well, in a really nice way, no one actually cares that much. Um,
Not as much as you
and
do about yourself. Like
yeah,
it,
exactly.
it might be a huge deal for you, or no one's analyzing your voice or looking at your hair like you are.
Yeah,
Like that's you. But again, therapists, luckily, you've got that insight to
yeah,
that nobody like, that. So
yeah,
just take your
yeah.
own teachings and think about it when you're
Exactly.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna remember that for myself, because I still struggle with it. I'm like, okay, gotta get no. We're just all, at the
Yeah.
end of the day, we're all humans. Like we're all
Yeah.
we're all we have our own problems, our own ticks, our own, get out of that
Yeah.
perfectionism mindset, right? That you
Yeah.
talk so much about.
Absolutely.
God,
Yeah.
I love it. So your website's also got a good, what's your strategy for your website? Is it mostly based around pulling them back from the social media, or do you do other things to kind of boost your website as well?
Yeah. So my website, I kind of think of it as separate to my Instagram. I guess for some people, they'd want people from Instagram to come onto their website and then convert them into clients. Whereas I generally just keep it Instagram with book a free intro call that links to a booking system that is nothing to do with my website.
Yeah.
Um, so for me, the website has been about definitely making it look pretty and having good copy on there in terms of, I guess, what I'm writing. So it's resonating with my ideal clients, but also making sure all the back end stuff is working well. So I guess that's your SEO, search engine optimization stuff. And so, yeah, there's been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that has gone into my website, but I do get a lot of compliments on my website from other therapists and clients. So I think it really is important in terms of creating, I guess, the sense and the message that you're wanting to convey. It's of course part of your brand.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, my tip would just be to learn everything you can about SEO so that you can get your website ranking well. Because there's no point in it looking nice or
Mm-hmm.
having good stuff on there if no one's going to see it when they type, therapy for perfectionism into Google if you don't show up.
Let's start adding this up, girl. You're a therapist, a coach, a private practice owner, a marketing guru at
Uh,
this point to have that where to know, hey, I've got to get the SEO. I mean, as a marketer, I'm so impressed. I got to get all of these things. It's got to look good. I mean, that's wonderful. Do you get help on your website or like someone that built it for you, or you done that on your own utilizing like a Wix or a site builder to do that? I think that's again, that's one of the areas that therapists I think sometimes struggle with is where do I start?
yeah, yeah. Well, what I did and what I generally always recommend to my um, therapist, business coaching clients is to, I guess, do a bit of research on the different website platforms out there. So my website is hosted on Show It, which I really like.
Okay.
I have tried others before, like Wix, you mentioned. Um, and to buy a website template
Mm-hmm.
so that you're not building from a blank white, I guess not piece of paper, blank white screen.
Kind of. It's a piece of
Um,
paper.
yeah. Um, and then you can customize it. And if you're not so confident, you can really stick with that template and it will look exactly as the original template did with, just different writing, different pictures and colors. Or once you start to get more confident of using your platform like Show It or Wix, then over time, you're going to tweak things, change things that now mine looks very, very different to the original template. But I guess I love it because I couldn't think of anything worse than if I wanted to make a website change and I just didn't know how to do it myself. And I had to A, pay someone else to do it and B, wait for them to do it.
Right.
And yeah, I just feel like if you can just easily go on and change something yourself, that is much better, I
Much
think.
better. Much better. There's nothing quite like waiting.
Yeah,
Yeah. So now you
yeah,
can take care of it yourself. Okay. So I appreciate that. So everyone out there listening, you need to go ahead and find yourself a good website builder and get on it. And it's not,
yeah,
I think at the end of the day, with the templates, with the tools that are available, most of the stuff is, very easy for you to do. And,
yeah. You can get
contact.
free templates as
Oh,
well. You don't even need to buy one. It's just if you saw one that you loved, there are ones out there that you can buy as well. But yeah, I guess having said that, I sit here being someone who secretly quite enjoys all that stuff, like learning about SEO, doing websites. But for other people, that could be their worst nightmare. Just like someone might say to me, you don't need an accountant, just get really into the numbers and figure all that stuff out yourself. I would just think, no, thank you, absolutely not. So I guess it depends on the person as well of what interests them and what they like doing. But ideally, if you can at least know the basics, that'll put you in a better position, I think.
I think you're right. I think you're right. So with with everything you've got here, what is the one piece of advice that you would give to say you 12 years ago or someone just starting
Mm-hmm.
out in their career?
Yeah. I think if I were to start again and think about what I would do differently, that would probably give me my answer of the kind of biggest piece of advice would be to get yourself a business coach, because there is nothing better and more helpful than having someone else to be able to ask, bounce your ideas off of. And I think so many therapists that I've worked with, and I've been there myself, you've got all these ideas and you're maybe sharing them with your partner who is kind of interested, but not really that interested in the same way as you are. They're not going to
Definitely.
understand things in the same way, particularly if, you're trying to figure out your niche, for
Mm-hmm.
example. Um, and so sometimes when you're in private practice, it can feel a bit lonely and you don't feel like you've got someone who you can discuss those things with. Yeah, maybe your supervisor, but really that's meant to be just about your clients. So I think having a business coach is really helpful. And I think for therapists in particular, if you can find a business coach who is also a therapist, then that I think is the best option, because I guess that example I gave with finding your niche, being able to talk to your business coach, but who's also a therapist, they're going to understand and know exactly what you mean when you're talking about different types of clients or different types of mental health problems. Um, and yeah, it just helps so much with accountability, um, being able to learn from someone else who's already made the mistakes and can
Mm-hmm.
tell you, don't bother with this or do more of that. Um, so, yeah, that would be my biggest piece of advice
Well, I love that advice
when
because
possible.
it leads me to my next question. And then I'm going to ask you a couple Power Diary questions at the end. But I want to ask you real quick, how can people find you?
So, you can go to my website, natalieenglander.com, and there's a page on there about business coaching for therapists. I guess it's for therapists, but also coaches as well.
Mm-hmm.
We're all kind of doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, on Instagram, the perfectionism therapist or therapist biz coach. Um, so, yeah, get in
Wonderful.
touch.
Okay, I'm going to make sure that we put these so anybody watching this video can find them on here. We'll also link it to any various places where we post some little clips from this podcast. So I appreciate that. And we'll put it in the bio and all the links and we'll get it all out there because, again, I think after hearing this, people are going to want to reach out to you to get some, some more tips and tricks. So I think that that is excellent. And maybe we'll keep growing you and help you keep being as successful as you are. So I wanted to ask you just a couple questions because I wanted to keep this about you and I want to save this stuff for the end. So you do utilize Power Diary within your own
Yeah.
practice, correct? What would you say is the tool that you use the most?
Do you know what? Just as you said that, I was like, oh, that would also be my other biggest tip is to get Power Diary, because it's just so helpful. And I think it makes managing your private practice so much better, so much easier. But there's also something about it making you feel like you're a legit business person, which I
Mm-hmm.
think therapists often feel quite strange. It's like, I'm in private practice. Oh, yeah, this is actually a business. I do need to do things like invoicing, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And so having Power Diary just makes all of that so much easier and more streamlined. But the things I love the most are the templates that you can create. So, templates for appointment confirmations, appointment reminders, invoices, different things that you might want to send your clients. It's just so quick and easy to book an appointment. They get sent a message, you send them the invoice, it's literally done within like 5 seconds. And I love all of the forms as well. So therapists often have various different questionnaires that they want to ask clients, or therapy contracts, or feedback forms, intake forms. So just having all of those saved on there, ready to go, that you can send your client. And it looks so much more professional for the client as well. You're not sending like an email with a Word doc attached that they can't really fill in properly and have to save and send back to you. And yeah, it's just, I think, looks more professional and is better for your clients as well. Um, And what else do I love? I guess I didn't use this initially, but I do use it now, which is the online booking system. So
Okay.
clients can go on, new clients, and book an initial appointment with me, and pay for it. I love it, although again, I used to have that toggled off, so they didn't have to pay; they just book the appointment. But now I have that toggled on.
Smart.
Um, so I think it's really great that it can just grow with you as you grow, depending on how you're wanting to operate your practice. There's so many different functions and things that you can do and change to make it work for you.
I love that. Yeah, that's perfect. I think that's our goal at Power Diary is to help businesses grow. So maybe there's, because we have so many different features and functionalities that maybe when you're just starting out, you might not necessarily need. But as your
Yeah.
business grows, as you get more clients, as you go into telehealth, as people find you on Instagram and may not be next door, having that ability to maybe have a telehealth session with them or, have it all in one place. So again, as you're starting out and as you grow, they're going to find so many more options and availabilities and things there for you. So wonderful. Well,
Yeah,
Natalie, I
definitely.
really appreciated this podcast and being our first guest. And, outside of our
Oh,
webinars and outside of our traditional things, you were just fantastic. I feel like people will take so much from this and so much knowledge. And I definitely want people to reach out to you. So I'm going to just state this again. Follow Natalie on Instagram at the Perfectionism Therapist or Therapy Biz Coach. We will put that information in all the places, and also head on over to natalieenglander.com. And yeah, thank you for joining me today. This was super lovely. And yeah, I just really appreciate you joining us today. So, everyone out
thank you so
there,
much for having me.
yes, thank you. And until next time, we will see you later. Bye bye.